The other parts of this are things like we want to make sure that the senior leadership of the Air Force understands the value that you play. And we do that by capturing success stories. We do that by telling your story to the community. We tell that story to the government. We tell that story to Congress. We tell that story to other businesses. Again, a very, very important part of our program. We want to look at the large prime contractors that we work with. Small business innovation research is only a fraction of the money that is spent within the federal government on small businesses or small innovative businesses. And we want to make sure that as many companies as possible are properly poised to be able to go after that. And we're doing that by reaching out to our prime contractors, to the larger business, to the first tier suppliers and the second tier suppliers, all the people that are providing these, and saying, hey, here is a catalog of Air Force programs that we have expressed interest in, and they are great opportunities for you all, large prime contractors, to partner with these companies to help deliver technologies to us on the Air Force side. Again, a tremendous opportunity inside the program. The other side of this is in reaching out to academia. We want to see academic institutions that have lots of different ideas, and how do we spin those out by, how do we spin these academic ideas out? Whether it's by them partnering with a small business and saying, this is the way we're going to get this out of the classroom and out of the laboratory and into the market where it can be bought or sold. And we want to see students that are leaving these academic organizations saying, I'm going to go start a new contract. And that is an important thing as well. I think those are all very, very valuable prepositions that we need to pursue in the future. We still maintain the same program across the DoD. We still have phase 1s, we still have phase 2s. And the goal of all of this is to get these programs into a program where other funding other than SBIR is where that's coming from. We want to build that up to where we've taken you as we've been an innovative organization. We want to marry you with a problem and a need, and we want to get a buyer that is interested in your technology. These are all propositions that we see going forward. The thing I want to kind of leave everyone with is we understand that this is a change, and change is somewhat challenging for folks, but the core of the program still remains the same. The fundamental value of the program is still the same. The idea of phase 1 concepts, phase 2 prototyping, and scaling, and eventually scaling up to where it's being used. Those are still the same principles. We're looking at all kinds of different ways to open this aperture and to get as many companies as possible in. And in doing that, we've increased the number of phase 1 awards that we're doing each year. We've increased the number of phase 2 awards, with the purpose of getting you as customers, you as products, mapped up with the buyers of the Air Force. And we have made so many strong successes, and we feel very, very confident that we're going to be able to continue to do this going forward. These are all tremendous propositions, and we're excited to be on this challenging journey with you all. I want to kind of close with the importance that you all provide for us. The Air Force was based on 2 guys in a bicycle shop in Dayton, Ohio, that started everything with the development of an aircraft. We've expanded. The entire Air Force is based on those. We are founded on a small business, and we need your support and your involvement in our programs in order to continue to succeed. Secretary and Dr. Roper, they expressed the large vision that the Air Force and Space Force has going forward. And small business, innovative businesses like yours are essential to our being able to accomplish that goal. The Air Force is open for business, and we are truly dedicated to making your technologies part of our portfolio and mapping you against those problems that you can make the best and largest contributions for. very, very excited to be here, and I'm really happy to see the progress that we're making, both in investments and in benefit to you, both in economic growth and in value to the warfighter. And I'm happy to interface with you all on a regular basis, and again, it's indeed a pleasure to talk to you today. I know there's probably lots of questions out there, and I'm happy to answer as many of them as I can, and to give you as clear of an understanding as I possibly can. So if there's any questions out there, I'm open and happy and willing to answer those.
So the first question is from Asana, and they said, I joined from Lackland as AFWERX SBIR non-diluted money for small businesses, whose IP will be, if anything comes out of the SBIR money. Also, does having a CRADA with AFWERX customers mandatory in phase 2?
So there are a lot of questions in there. So I'll try to address a couple of them. So one, intellectual property is a really, really important thing of this program. The value that small businesses, it's in your intellectual property, and we are committed and dedicated to protecting that intellectual property. And so there are numbers of different protections that we've put in place to support intellectual property. One of those is when you are given or when you are awarded a SBIR, you maintain all the rights to your intellectual property, meaning we on the government, we do not own that. It also gives you the opportunity to sell that technology to other people, whether it is you can sell that technology to other DoD, Army and Navy. You can sell that to NASA. You can sell that to the National Institute of Health, all of those. In terms of what kinds of agreements, I think, unfortunately, the perspective on someone, what's required and what's not, has been somewhat misconstrued. The intention of asking organizations to write up what we call memorandums of agreement, or to have CRADAs or agreements in place, is not about the agreement itself. It's really about saying that, hey, here is somebody who is interested. It's a way for us to gauge the interest that other government entities or other Air Force entities have in your technology. And there are three things that we measure SBIR technologies on. We measure on the technical merit, we measure on the commercialization potential, and we measure on the team that you've built up. Those are the three things that we're measuring on. And so the commercialization potential, what's the possibility of this being put into a weapon system? What is the possibility of this being sold on the outside market? What is the dual use opportunity? What is the opportunity inside the Air Force or other government markets? That measure of that is done by seeing a number of factors, and one of them is who's willing to sign up? Who else is interested in that? Whether it's a government individual or whether it's an outside individual. So a CRADA isn't necessarily a requirement. We don't require those kind of things, and going forward, we're not going to be requiring those. But what we are going to be doing is we're going to be asking organizations to bring to us some kind of something that demonstrates that someone outside, someone other than SBIR, is interested in putting money on this. And that is going to be a large measure of whether or not there is potential for this to be used going forward.
Great, thanks for that. Second question, there's been a combination of these questions asked. Scott Gray said that open topics rock, otherwise they wouldn't have won. Is there a limit of one award at a time, and will this still be the case going forward? Scott says that he's part of a small business that has 3 great innovative ideas that can handle 3 phase 1s right now.
So, one of the things is, we always are learning lessons, and I'll be truthful. We're equally excited about the open topics because they do the best of both worlds. The idea of here's where you can go if you've got an idea and you're not sure where it fits. And it's also a place that we can advertise all the things that people are looking for. So it is the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, the terminology, things get lost in the mix, but the idea was to support businesses out there. We were also trying to expand and get as many new players in as possible. And in doing that, we placed initially, we put out a restriction on there for one topic or one proposal or one award. We've backed off of that. We understood it was an unintended consequence. We understand that there are companies that can foster more than one, and we are certainly we certainly recognize that in some of our recent solicitations, and we've taken that requirement out of those solicitations, and we don't anticipate that being a requirement going forward. Yes, if you got 3 ideas, send the 3 ideas in. If you've got 3 good ideas and we can get 3 matches, then sure enough, then we will press forward. But value industry and value you all as organizations giving us that feedback so we can make the course correction.
Great, sounds good. Next question from Richard Toms. Is there a plan to bring back some traditional topics back to the AFWERX SBIR program?
So here's my point: is the traditional topics never actually left. And so we've been doing traditional topics. What I think we're going to see going forward is we're going to have our open topic. We're going to have our open topic, but we're going to have what we call focus areas or subtopics inside of that. And the traditional topics will obviously, a traditional concept of a specific problem or a specific need, they'll be nested inside those open topics. And so you'll get the best of both worlds. You'll have the specificity of a problem that one of our weapon systems or one of our science and technology environments or one of those have brought to the table and says, here's something I'm specifically looking for. You'll have the ability to put something in against that. You'll also have the ability, if you don't know how that your technology fits, you don't have to try to pick and judge and shoehorn one in. So we feel that they'll be the best of both worlds. We're not making any commitment that there'll be only one topic or how, but we're going to use all of those tools at our disposal going forward. And we think the system or the process actually is in those organizations' favor. The traditional topics, they're in there. They're in the sauce, and they're in the topics that we have right now. They're just now known as focus areas, and going forward, I think you'll be able to see and recognize that more.
From Scott Gray, what is the relationship with Army and Navy and SBIR, if any? I ask because of the cross-platform solutions for all 3.
The important thing to recognize is, so in my capacity as the Air Force Director, I have a counterpart in the Army. I have a counterpart in the Navy. I have one in DTRA. I also have them in the other departments of NASA, Department of Energy. What we're trying to do is simply to make it so that the power of the SBIR program isn't the single service. If you have an idea that you've done work with the Air Force, we don't own you, and we would love to see you ability to take that idea and shop that around to other services. By the same token, we make investments in what's being done for other services all the time. And so part of, we've working to build unity within the Air Force, but we're also working to build unity within the Department of Defense and unity across the entire government in SBIR. There is so much value in this program, but the true value is in the ability to take our technologies and take the technologies of others and share them. Duplication of some efforts and here and there is okay. It creates a market. But what we don't want to necessarily do is try to start all over from scratch every time something comes up. If there's a technology that can be modified to meet our needs or something, we want to try to do that and buy that. And so the idea of our relationship going forward is, as we've been experimenting with these concepts, we're now starting to bring in our Army and our Navy and our NASA and other other teammates to say, well, is there things that are, are there commercial solutions? Are there dual use technologies? Are there joint dual use technologies? And so I think going forward, you're going to see more and more topics. You're going to see some open topics that are tied to the Army and the Air Force, some that are tied to joint, and you're going to start to see, are there topics where Air Force and Army could both make an investment in something with a particular company? So the short answer to your question is yes. We're building up that to where it's not going to be just you're working with the Air Force. You're going to be working with the entire SBIR community by getting into the program and the portfolio. I like to express it like this. Once you've been awarded, the value of SBIR is once you've been awarded a SBIR, you're in the catalog. And any customer in the government can now shop through that catalog and is allowed to buy from you sole source. It does not mean that you have the entitlement that they must buy from you, but it does mean that you're in that catalog, and we've made it very, very simple for those folks to buy from you. As the Air Force, I want to make sure that the buyers of the Air Force and the buyers of other departments know that they can shop off of that catalog, that they can look at the things that you're doing, that they can buy the product, the technology, the service, or they can take what's been done and modify it for their needs. We want to make that portfolio available to anyone within the government.
This is from Larry Williams. He says, we were awarded a Phase 1 under 19.3. However, it has been a struggle to connect with potential customers. We have a new technology that will have a strong impact on verticals. Vertical takeoff in landing/urban air mobility under the new Agility Prime program. This is dual use technology as we have multiple customers and investors. However, we have not been able to connect with potential U.S. Air Force customers to showcase our technology. No front door for us. Since Agility Prime has the goal to fly by the end of 2020, cannot slip into another later SBIR round in order to have the time we need to be on the platform by the end of the year. I've tried and tried to get someone to engage directly with me, but I have had no luck. What else can be done?
So, the idea of, I don't really know the specifics of your company, Larry, but this I will say, why don't if you send me a message, I'm happy to try to get a better understanding and to give you a connection or a point of contact that you can pursue. Like any technology, and we have 7,000 active SBIRs. We recognize and understand that we're going to have to come up with better ways to match you up with folks. I think the value is, the fact that you do have a Phase 1 SBIR is just not a one option. That is alive and well. Whether someone has picked up and decided to fund you for a Phase 2 or not, that your proposal is still open and still open. And we just probably need to try to match you up. And if there's the right fit, then that investment will come. And so I understand the challenge, but I don't understand the specifics. If you reach out to me personally, I'll connect you with some folks who can work with you.